and gentlemen, when was the last time you learned something outside of your field of expertise? So for example, you are a medical student. When was the last time you learned something about history or arts or even accounting? Do you remember? Today, my topic is interdisciplinary learning, and I'm going to be telling you how I use this habit to change my life and how you can also use it to ignite the potential within you. But first of all, let us imagine. So imagine you're in a busy hospital and the surgeons are preparing for a very complex surgery, and every second counts. And let's say these surgeons are not just equipped with scalpels and stethoscopes. What if they are also equipped with AI-driven diagnostics and telemedical devices, amongst others? Do you have an idea how we can achieve this reality? When we talk about changing the world, we often think about who is going to be the next Steve Jobs that's going to give us a new revolutionary product like an iPhone, or is going to be the next Bill Gates, who's going to build a bigger Microsoft. We often tend to forget the potential that we have within us and how we can use that to change the world around us. So simply put, interdisciplinary learning is when you are taught to take information across disciplines and bring them together to solve critical and complex problems. We live in a fast-paced, globally connected world, and learning in one discipline and just sticking to it no longer really works in the world today. So who is this person standing in front of you telling you about interdisciplinary learning? I am Ayodeji Omonijo. I am a medical student studying physiotherapy at Obafemi Awolowo University. I am the CEO of an edutech startup, Techspace Academy. I am a UI UX designer and also a project manager. And I want to share with you a somewhat personal story. So I gained admission to study physiotherapy in 2019, and it took me about almost a year before I even started learning anything. So I was at home. And during that time, I got interested in tech. I could not just ignore the allure of tech and the potential it had to change the world. Now, during that time, I became a UI UX designer. Then I added a new dimension to my path. So I started school. During my first year, it was easy to pass my fundamental courses, and I scaled through. Then I entered into my second year, and it was time to face the giant courses: anatomy, medical biochemistry, physiology, amongst others. And this was when the storm came for me. You see, at this time was when I now decided that let us start Techspace Academy. And I am a freelancer. I'd also become a project manager, and I still had to be a medical student. Now, this period tested my limits, and it required every ounce of problem-solving skill I had. Now, there's this concept called design thinking, and it is a human-centered problem-solving approach that I use as a designer, and every other designer probably use, to solve our employers' design problems. And this concept requires 5 steps. So go with me. The first one is empathize to understand the user's problem. Then the second one, you define that problem in a statement. Then thirdly, you brainstorm ideas and come up with ideas to solve this problem that you found. And number 4, you come up with a prototype to test your ideas. And then number 5, you test. And how do you test? You test by going through the whole process again until you come up with a very good solution. And what makes design thinking very powerful is that it allows you to go out with a problem in hand and then go out to ask questions. You come up with those questions by yourself, and then you ask questions. So why is it like this, and how can we make it better? And by asking questions, you get solutions, and then you can solve that problem. Now, before I go back to how design thinking helped my life as a medical student, let me help you understand interdisciplinary learning more. When we talk about preparing for the future, it is a commonly used phrase in education, which simply emphasizes how school prepares us for the labor markets, basically. It means that school prepares us for critical thinking and everything we need. But studies have shown that our schools are doing a very bad job. Now, a 2016 pay scale study shows that 60% of employers believe that recent university graduates do not have the critical thinking skills they need for their roles. Even though 90% of these graduates believe they have those skills, nearly half of the employers do not even agree with them. So why is school doing a very bad job? Because if you look at it, for over 40 years, the school system in Finland has been the highest performing. And it is a well-known fact that the school system in Finland embraces interdisciplinary learning. So why do I think our school system is doing a very bad job? Now, the thing is, when they want to test our knowledge, they use this very common format. It is the problem answering method, where you are given a set of questions, and then you are supposed to answer it according to a set marking guide. Am I correct? Now, what this does is that it boxes us into a region where you just have to answer this. But with interdisciplinary learning, you are allowed to combine theory with critical thinking, such that you are allowed to ask your own questions. With the theory you already have, ask your own questions and come up with answers that you can use to solve problems. This is critical thinking. Now, let's go back to me and how I was on the brink of failure as a tutorial level student in medical school. You see, I now knew I had a problem, but I knew I had the solution somewhere. I had to bring it out. And my solution was design thinking. So I used this design thinking to solve my employer's problem. Ayodeji, solve your problem. You see, what I did was follow the 5 basic steps. I sat myself down. What were the things taking out my time? Okay, chill. My task, why am I missing meetings? Why am I doing all of this? I knew my problem, so I could define it. And I started coming up with ideas, right? And I created a prototype. And how did I do that? Using my project management and design skills. So how could I make sure that I was living every day with intention, not just going through the motion? And you see, design thinking works like magic, at least to me. Because here I am, a theory level student of physiotherapy. So I did not fail. I was still able to manage my life as a freelancer and also as a medical student, together with every other stress. And of course, with also the help of my friends. So what this did was it reinforced my belief that design thinking is not just for pixels on a screen. It is also a life philosophy. As I've said before, interdisciplinary learning is when we are taught to combine information from different disciplines and use them to solve complex and critical problems. So I was able to take what I know from design and project management and use it for my life as a medical student. So tech, music, science, art, they are often presented as disjointed. But in the real sense, it is like a Venn diagram where the edges are blurred and then they blend into each other. So now I've been telling you about interdisciplinary learning and how I did it. How can you embrace it in your life? Now, as a student, you can decide to collaborate with your peers and study things that are outside of your field of study. So let's say, for example, you are a medical student. You decide to go out and learn about balance sheets in accounting. And then you find a way to use that to improve the health medical records. Now, also as career people, and how do you embrace interdisciplinary learning? So let me give you an example. Let's say there's a problem in marketing and sales are going down, and you are the team lead. Instead of only calling the marketing and the sales people, also invite people from design, invite people from development. Invite the HR. Invite other people to that sprint, that meeting. And then you'll be amazed by the amount of ideas that people have. And you can use this to solve problems. What if your next project could benefit from an artistic perspective? Or maybe the next medical breakthrough benefits from a concept in statistics? So whether you're a student, you're a professional, or even a lifelong learner, I want you to step outside of your comfort zone and embrace interdisciplinary learning. Learn something completely outside of your field, just for the fun of it, and watch the magic happen. We live in an ever-changing world, so as humans, why are we afraid of change? Right now, interdisciplinary learning does not just serve as an advantage for you, it is a necessity. So let us break down silos that have historically existed and embrace interdisciplinary learning. Because at this crossroads is where our future is waiting for us. So I urge you to be prepared. Thank you.